the transition metal ion exists in the highest oxidation state. So what is its behavior? It should behave like an oxidizing agent. Solid NaCl will not conduct electricity because there are no ions or no electrons which is free to move. Benzoic acid gets associated with benzene. That is the reason osmotic pressure is reducing. Inductive effect involves displacement of pi electrons. Hello my dear students, welcome back to part 2 of Karnataka CET 2006 chemistry paper. We'll start with the 21st question. A transition metal ion exists in its highest oxidation state. It is expected to behave as a chelating agent, a central metal atom in a coordination number, an oxidizing agent, a reducing agent. So here what are they telling? The transition metal ion exists in the highest oxidation state. So what is its behavior? It should behave like an oxidizing agent because it is there in the highest oxidation state. Okay, so it will be a very good oxidizing agent. 22nd question. In which of the following complex ion the central metal ion is in a state of sp3d2 hybridization? ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಯಾವುದಕ್ಕೆ sp3d2 hybridization ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. So we'll see the options what we have. COF6 3 minus, CONH3 6 3 plus, FeCN6 3 minus, CrNH3 6 3 plus. First of all, what we understand is, here we have only NH3, Cn and NH3. All the three ligands are what kind of ligands? A very strong ligand. Okay. Whereas here we have fluorine, which is a weak ligand, and thus pairing of the electrons against Hund's rule in cobalt will not happen, and we know that this will form sp3d2 hybridization. That is, the d orbitals of the valence shell is taken, not the penultimate shell. Thus F is a, or fluorine is a weak ligand, and COF6 3 minus will undergo sp3d2 hybridization. Okay, so we'll go to the next question. Which of the following can participate in linkage isomerism? So for linkage isomerism, what is very important is, in a ligand there should be more than one donor. Okay, so either of two atoms, any one of the atoms in a particular ligand can act as a donor. Only then linkage isomerism is possible. Here we'll see the options. That is, option A NO2 minus, option B CH2 CH2 NH2 NH2. Okay, option C H2O, option D NH3. In amine, nitrogen is the donor, H2O oxygen is the donor. Here again 2 also nitrogen atom only is the donor. Here only it is possible that nitrogen can donate or oxygen can donate. Thus option A is the ligand which shows linkage isomerism. Okay. Next question. Which of the following has the highest bond order? So options are, option A nitrogen, option B oxygen, option C helium molecule, option D hydrogen molecule. Now helium molecule does not exist, bond order is 0. Hydrogen, it is 1, this is 2 and this is 3. So which has having the highest bond order? It is nitrogen. Option A is the correct answer. Okay. Next question. Which of the following is diamagnetic? H2 plus, O2, Li2, He2 plus. So first of all, we have to know that diamagnetic means there is no unpaired electron. Correct? For paramagnetic nature, there should be having an unpaired electron. Now hydrogen molecule has got 2 electrons. Hydrogen has got 1 electron. So it has got unpaired electron. Oxygen, we know it is paramagnetic. It has got 16 electrons, and if it's 16 electrons it is there, it is paramagnetic. Li2, lithium. Lithium molecule has got 6 electrons. Okay, it has got 6 electrons. So it is sigma 1s2, sigma star 1s2 and sigma 2s2. All are paired up and it is diamagnetic. Okay, helium He2 plus. First of all, helium molecule does not exist. In helium, if you want to know, 2 plus 2, 4, but 1 is lost. It has got odd number of electrons. Obviously, it has got an unpaired electron. It should be paramagnetic. So, the one which is diamagnetic is lithium molecule because there is no unpaired electron. Okay. 26th question. The concentration of a reactant X decreases from 0.1 molar to 0.025 molar in 40 minutes. If the reaction follows first order kinetics, the rate of the reaction when the concentration of X is 0.01 molar will be. See, they have given the first order kinetics, they have mentioned, they have given the time, and they have also given us the concentration from 0.1 to 0.05, it is reducing. Okay. Now, what are we going to do is first find out the value of K, rate constant. Then we can find out the rate of the reaction. Okay. So, I am not going to look into the options. Options, if you look, what you will get to know is either you have to get the answer as 1.73 into 10 power minus 4 or 10 power minus 5. So, only the powers are changing, or you have to get 3.47 in 10 power minus 5 or 10 power minus 4. Again, only powers are changing. So, two possible numbers you can get. So, we will see how to solve this. Okay. First order kinetics, it's mentioned. So, K is equal to 2.303 by T log of R naught by R. So, this is 2.303 by 40 minutes is given, log of 0.1 divided by 0.025. This is nothing but 4. Okay. Log 4 I will write as 2 log 2. That is 2 to the power 2 is 4. So, I can write it as 2 log 2, and log 2 value is 0.3010, which we know. So, this will be 2 ones are 2 into 20. So, I can write it as 2.303 divided by 20 into 0.3010. So, if we solve this, we are going to get it as 0.0347. This is the value of K. Okay. Now, rate of the reaction is, it's a first order reaction, it is told, and the reactant only X is there. Okay. So, when the molar concentration of X, K value is 0.0347 into 0.01 molar, then what is the rate is what's the question. So, this 0.01 is nothing but 10 to the power minus 2, correct? So, I'll move the points. So, this is 3.47 into 2 more points I have moved, so it is 10 power minus 4. So, the answer is option B, where 3.47 into 10 power minus 4 molar per minute is the answer. Okay. So, I hope you have understood how to solve this. It's quite easy problem. Only thing you have to know the log values. Okay. Next question. Chemical reaction with a very high EA value are generally very fast, very slow, moderately slow, spontaneous. See, when the activation energy value is very high, EA means activation energy. So, the reactant molecules have to take up a lot of energy to go and reach the threshold energy level. So, will the reaction be very fast? No. Will it be moderately fast? No, it will be very slow because the value of activation energy is very high. So, the answer will be very slow, which is option B. Okay. Next question. Which of the following does not conduct electricity? Fused NaCl, solid NaCl, brine solution, copper. Copper is a metal, it conducts electricity. Brine solution is liquid solution of or concentrated sodium chloride solution. Sodium ion chloride ionizer, it will conduct electricity. Fused also is molten NaCl. Obviously, ions are free, it will conduct electricity. Only solid NaCl will not conduct electricity because there are no ions or no electrons which is free to move. Okay. 29th question. When a quantity of electricity is passed through copper sulfate solution, 0.16 gram of copper gets deposited. If the same quantity of electricity is passed through acidulated water, then the volume of hydrogen liberated at STP will be. So here they have told that when some quantity of electricity is passed, copper sulfate is getting converted to copper or depositing as copper from copper sulfate solution, and the amount, mass they have given. Okay, same amount of electricity is passed through hydrogen or acidulated water, through which the hydrogen gas has to get liberated. So we have to use Faraday's second law, and we will take that weight of copper deposited by weight of hydrogen produced is equal to equivalent weight of copper and equivalent weight of hydrogen. Okay. So, equivalent weight of copper is easy to find out. Copper sulfate to copper, what has happened? Cu plus 2, it will accept 2 electrons and it will get deposited as copper. So, equivalent weight is atomic weight by valency, that is 2 here. Okay. So, atomic weight is 64, divided by 2, it is 32. Okay. So, weight of copper deposited is 0.16. This I have to find out. I'll just take it as W here. Okay. This is 32. Equivalent mass of hydrogen is 1. So, the weight of the gas produced is 0.16 divided by 32, which is nothing but 5 into 10 to the power minus 5 grams, which is equal to 5 into 10 to the power minus 3 grams. Okay. Now, I got the mass, but I want the volume. We know that 2 grams of hydrogen, H2 gas, so 2 grams will occupy 22,400 cm cube. Why I am taking cm cube? Because all my answers is in cm cube. Okay. So, 5 into 10 to the power minus 3 grams if I have, what will be the number of cm cube which it will occupy. So, it is 5 into 10 to the power minus 3 into 22,400 divided by 2. And if I solve this, I will be getting as 10 power minus 3. So, this is somewhere around 56 cm cube. Okay. So, the answer is option B. Fine. We'll go to the next question. Solubility product of salt AB is 1 into 10 power minus 8 molar square. In a solution in which the concentration of A plus ion is 10 power minus 3 molar, the salt will precipitate when the concentration of B minus ion is kept between 10 power minus 8 and 10 power minus 7, between 10 power minus 7 and 10 power minus 6 molar, greater than 10 power minus 5 molar, or less than 10 power minus 8 molar. So, we have to find out when A and B, they have given the solubility product of AB. They have given the molar concentration of A plus ion. What should be the molar concentration of B minus ion to get the precipitate? Okay. For a precipitate to be formed, we know that the ionic product should be greater than the solubility product. Now, solubility product is given for AB, it is 1 into 10 to the power minus 8. So, I can write the formula KSP is equal to A plus ion into B minus ion. So, B minus ion is nothing but KSP, that is the solubility product into molar concentration of A plus. Solubility product is 1 into 10 power minus 8. Molar concentration of A plus is 10 to the power minus 3. So, this will be 10 to the power minus 5 molar. Correct? So, if I want the B and A to precipitate, the ionic product should be more. So, B minus concentration should be more than 10 to the power minus 5 molar. So, answer is option C. It should be greater than 10 to the power minus 5 molar. Only then precipitate will be formed. If it is exactly 10 to the power minus 5 molar, ionic product and solubility product will be equal to one another. So, it should be greater than 10 to the power minus 5 molar. Okay. So, that's about this particular question. We'll go to the next one. Which one of the following condition will increase the voltage of the cell represented by the equation Cu plus 2Ag plus aqueous? You will get Cu plus 2 and 2Ag. Okay. Options we shall see. Option A, increase in dimensions of copper electrode, increase in dimensions of Ag electrode, increase in concentration of Cu plus ions, increase in concentration of Ag plus ions. So, what should I increase to increase the voltage for this particular cell? If we see the cell, reduction is taking place here, correct? In Ag plus is accepting electron to become Ag. Increase the concentration of Ag plus or decrease the concentration of Cu plus 2 ions. So, what should we do? Either increase the concentration of Ag plus because reduction is happening here, okay, or decrease the concentration of Cu plus 2 ions. So, which option do we have? Increase the concentration of Cu plus ions cannot happen. Increase in concentration of Ag plus, that is option D is the correct answer. We'll go to the next question. The pH of 10 power minus 8 molar HCl solution is 8 more than 8, between 6 and 7, slightly more than 7. See, HCl is an acid. So, without solving also you can tell it cannot be 8, it cannot be more than 8, it cannot be slightly more than 7 also, because all of that is basic pH and you can tell it is only between 6 and 7. But how is the pH between 6 and 7? When molar concentration is 10 power minus 8. If I calculate it normally as I do pH, pH is equal to negative logarithm of H plus ion and this will be negative logarithm of 10 to the power minus 8. So, I will get minus 8 log 10 and I will get 8 as the value, but this is wrong. pH of HCl is not 8 when its molar concentration is 10 power minus 8. See, it is a very low molar concentration or it's a very dilute acid. So, you have to take the H plus ion from water also. Okay. So, we know that H plus ion concentration is 1 into 10 to the power minus 7 molar, that is from molar concentration of H plus into molar concentration of OH minus is equal to 10 power minus 14 at 298 Kelvin, that is POH or ionic product of water. Okay. So, from that I will get H plus ion concentration is 1 into 10 power minus 7 molar, that is from water. H plus ion concentration from acid is 1 into 10 power minus 8 molar. So, I will have to add this. So, total H plus ion concentration is 1 into 10 power minus 7 plus 1 into 10 power minus 8, which is 1 into 10 power minus 7 plus 0.1 into 10 to the power minus 7. Take it out common, I will get 1.1 into 10 power minus 7 as the molar concentration of H plus ion. Now, you put pH formula, negative logarithm of H plus ion. So, negative logarithm of 1.1 into 10 to the power minus 7. So, you will get this as minus 7 log 10 plus log of 1.1. Okay. So, this will be minus 7 plus log of 1.1 will be somewhere around 0.1 somewhere there, and it will be 7 minus 0.1 some 6 point something. You will get the answer as 6 point something will be the answer, that's between 6 and 7. Okay. So, that's how we solve this. I also have solved this in the previous papers also. You can check out for the same problem in detail. I have done every step. Okay. Next question. The mass of glucose that should be dissolved in 50 grams of water in order to produce the same lowering of vapor pressure as is produced by dissolving 1 gram of urea in the same quantity of water is option A 1 gram, option B 3 grams, option C 6 grams, option D 18 grams. Now in this problem, what we have to find out is the mass of glucose that has to be dissolved in 50 grams of water to get the same relative lowering of vapor pressure as in the solution with 1 gram of urea in same 50 grams of water. Okay. So what should be same? Relative lowering of vapor pressure should be same. So we know the formula as for relative lowering of vapor pressure, we know that equal to W1 by W2 is equal to M2 by M1. Correct? So one I'll take for glucose and I'll equate it with urea. So what we are going to do? W of glucose, okay, into M2 of water. This is same, okay, and M1 of glucose. So M1 of glucose is 180 grams, okay, which is equal to W of urea into M2 of water and W2 of water into 60 grams. Okay, that is molecular mass of urea is 60. So what is common here is, see, M2 and this is common because it is water, 18 and 50 grams. For both it is same. So it gets cancelled. So you are going to get it as W for glucose by 180, which is equal to, what is the mass of urea? 1 by 60. So you are going to get it as 180 by 60, that is 3. So 3 grams is the correct answer. Okay. I hope you have understood this particular problem. 34th question. Osmotic pressure observed when benzoic acid is dissolved in benzene is less than that expected from theoretical consideration. This is because benzoic acid is an organic solvent. Benzoic acid has higher molar mass than benzene. Benzoic acid gets associated with benzene. Benzoic acid gets dissociated in benzene. So what is that they are asking? Osmotic pressure observed when benzoic acid is dissolved in benzene is less than that of expected. So when benzoic acid is dissolved in benzene, it is less than expected. The osmotic pressure is less than expected. Why? That is because benzoic acid gets associated with benzene. That is the reason osmotic pressure is reducing. Okay. So option C is the correct answer. Next question. For a reaction to be spontaneous at all temperature, delta H and delta G should be negative. Delta H and delta G should be positive. Delta G is equal to delta S is equal to 0. Delta H is less than delta G. See, we want spontaneous reaction at all temperature. For spontaneous reaction, delta G also should be negative and delta H also should be negative. So option A is the right answer. Okay. Next one. Which of the following electrolyte will have maximum flocculation value for FeOH3 sol? See, flocculation value. Coagulating power. Okay. And FeOH thrice is a positive sol. So negative ion whose coagulating power is more, its coagulation or flocculation value will be less. So if the flocculation value should be high, the coagulating power should be less. So option A, if you see, you have Cl minus, option B S2 minus, option C you have PO4 3 minus, and option D we have SO4 2 minus. So the highest coagulating power is PO4 3 minus, but this has less flocculation value. But the lowest coagulating power is for Cl minus, so this will have the highest flocculation value. So correct option is option A, NaCl. Okay. We'll go to the next question. For a reversible reaction X plus Y giving 2Z, delta H is minus 40 kilojoules. The standard entropies of X, Y, Z are 60, 40 and 50 joule per Kelvin per mole respectively. The temperature at which the above reaction attains equilibrium is about 400 Kelvin, 500 Kelvin, 273 Kelvin, 373 Kelvin. So here they have given the standard entropies and they have given us the delta H values. So we have to find out the temperature at which this system will come at equilibrium. So first we need to calculate the entropy, delta S value. So for this reaction, delta S naught will be equal to, that is the entropy of the product minus the entropy of the reactants. So it is 2 into S naught of Z, okay, minus S naught of X plus 3 S naught of Y, okay. So this will be 2 into S naught of Z is 50 minus S naught of X is 60 plus 3 into S naught of Y is 40. So this is 100 minus 180, which is equal to minus 80 joule, okay. This is minus 80 joules. Delta H value is given as minus 40 kilojoules, which is nothing but minus 40,000 joules. So now at equilibrium, we know the formula delta G naught is equal to delta H minus T delta S naught, correct? Now delta G naught should be equal to 0 at equilibrium. So what will happen? Delta H will be equal to T delta S. So temperature is equal to delta H minus delta S. Delta H is 40,000. Delta S is 80. So this will be equal to 500 Kelvin. So the answer is option B, 500. I hope you have understood this particular problem. It's quite simple if you understand. Of course, it takes more than a minute, but you can balance with the other problems or other questions which is quite easy. Okay. Next question. The radii of Na plus and Cl minus ion are 95 picometer and 181 picometer respectively. The edge length of NaCl unit cell is option A 276 picometer, option B 138 picometer, option C 552 picometer, option D 415 picometer. We know that NaCl has got FCC structure. It's got FCC structure. In FCC, R plus R minus is equal to A by 2, or edge length is 2 times R plus 2 times R minus I can do. Correct, no? 2 into R plus R minus is equal to edge length I can get. So what is the answer is? So I can tell 2 into cation is 95 plus 2 into 181. So the answer for this will be 190 plus 362, that is 552 picometer. So option C is the correct answer. We'll go to the next question. Inductive effect involves displacement of sigma electrons, delocalization of pi electrons, delocalization of sigma electrons, displacement of pi electrons. Inductive effect involves displacement of pi electrons. Correct, no? The more electronegative atom will pull the electron towards itself, which we call it as inductive effect, and it's a permanent effect, isn't it? Next question and the last question for this particular part. The basicity of aniline is less than that of cyclohexylamine. Thus, is due to plus R effect of NH2 group, minus I effect of NH2 group, minus R effect of NH2 group, hyperconjugation effect. In aniline, if you see, NH2, we have bond will form charge, correct, no? So what type of effect is this? This is plus R effect, am I right? So what is the reason for, less basicity? It is plus R effect of NH2 group, option A, okay? So I hope you have understood part 2 of Karnataka CET 2006 chemistry paper. Stay tuned for more updates. We'll come with next 20 question in part B of Karnataka CET 2006 paper. Thank you, my dear children.